Hello, and welcome to another video that you'll never admit to your friends you watched. We pick up after the 2024 season, having lost once again to the Angels in the World Series. I'm not entirely sure how long our contention window will remain open, but let's push ahead anyway. As always, personnel. Here are the before and after hires. I asked in another video if I should omit this and was told no, so here you go. Speaking of, quick fanboy moment. Foolish Baseball actually left a comment on my Orioles World Series run finale, and I absolutely freaked out Bobby Hill style. We have arbitration eligible players, but there is only one notable extension this time around. Brandon Brennan signed a 2-year, $6 million contract. Really like this guy and may keep him for a while if he continues to perform. I add Jarrett Godman, Raynel Delgado, Daniel Cerda, Pete Crow Armstrong, and Franco Aleman to the 40-man roster, while DFAing Logan Brown and Jeremy Ehrman. I make a trade with the Nationals, sending Tristan Gray, Keone Cavaco, Parker Meadows, and a minor leaguer for Carlos Rodon, retaining 20%, and Cole Hinkleman. I saw Tristan Gray regressing and decided to part ways while I could. The Blue Jays agreed to a trade, sending me Kumar Rocker and Sen Keneally for Mike Schultes and Reed Humphreys. This was a low-risk trade I felt was worth a shot. I make another trade with the Nationals, sending Edwin Rojas, Adalberto Mondesi, and a minor leaguer for Matthew Lugo, Jorge Bendezu, and 3 minor leaguers. Mostly did this to get out of Mondesi's contract.
The savings are coming. The savings are coming.
To make these trades work, I DFA Shigeyoshi Honda and Dakota Bennett. Bennett has spent the vast majority of his career with the Rockies injured, and it was time for him to go. Noah Syndergaard was named the Cy Young winner for the previous season. He's been a great investment so far, not to be outdone however. Connor Capel was named the Rookie of the Year. Not bad since I only signed him originally as backup. Finally, Ozzie Albies, Jackie Bradley Jr., Patrick Corbin, Chris Flexen, AJ Minter, and Chris Sale were all let go. That's a lot of recognizable names. We reached the free agency period, and here is some of the available talent we have to choose from. I signed Guangwu Jian to a minor league deal worth $1 million. Wasn't a bad idea in case of injury during spring training. Jonathan Hernandez agrees to a 1-year, $1 million deal. Unsure if he will be worth it, but he'll be cheap to cut if need be. During the Rule 5 draft, I claim Omarion Boards for my roster. And that's it for the offseason. I'm going to try to use internal options this year. We reached spring training, and the only thing of note is a suspension by Pat Bailey.
Oh, seriously, are you kidding me?
We arrive at opening day, and after the usual demotions, these are the pitching assignments and lineup I'm left with. Honestly, not feeling too confident about this. As per tradition, I play the opening day game, and this is the lineup I went with. Unfortunately, this game was pretty uninteresting, losing 7-6 to the Diamondbacks. I do this to get our pitching started on the right foot, but this time around, not only did that not happen, we lost Noah Syndergaard for 4 to 5 weeks.
The worst episode ever.
As a result, I call up Zach Hess to replace him. These are my new pitching assignments. Brandon Brennan is out for 4 months. Way to make me regret that extension. I call up Brian Abreu in his place. These are my pitching assignments. We enter May with a 9-14 record, a .391 win percentage, 4th in the division. This is what I was afraid of, but again, first months are usually the worst. These are my pitching stats, as well as my batting stats. I DFA Osiris Castillo, demote Pete Crow Armstrong and Brian Abreu while calling up Xavier Curry, Jarrett Godman, and Luke Leto. These are my new pitching assignments, as well as my lineup. Vladimir Delone is out for 3 weeks. I call up Raynel Delgado to replace him. This is my new lineup. Matthew Lugo is out for 4 weeks. I call up Daniel Cerda to replace him. This is my new lineup. Vladimir Delone is no longer injured and is sent on a rehab assignment. Sen Keneally is out for 2 months. I call up Franco Aleman to replace him. These are my new pitching assignments. We reached June with a 25-26 record, a .490 win percentage, 2nd in the division. Definitely showing signs of life now.
I want your ass in my office.
God, I'm starving.
These are my pitching stats, as well as my batting stats. I make a trade with the Yankees, sending Shea Langeliers, Tyler Freeman, Freddie Peralta, and a minor leaguer for Gleyber Torres, retaining 25%, and 2 minor leaguers. I'm hoping taking away something from the catching platoon in exchange for infield help works out. I demote Raynel Delgado and call up Brian Abreu, Dalton Rushing, and Vladimir Delone to fill up the roster. These are my new pitching assignments, as well as my lineup. Draft time, and I make 2 $6 million offers. But the most interesting thing about this year is one of my draft picks' name is Wilcox's son. Did I just sign a fucking pedophile?
A few inches later.
Noah Syndergaard is no longer injured and is sent on a rehab assignment. Please hurry. Right behind him, Matthew Lugo is also sent on a rehab assignment. Gleyber Torres is out for 7 weeks. I call up Matthew Lugo from his rehab assignment. This is my new lineup. And Zach Hess is suspended. We reached July, still stuck in mediocrity with a 38-40 record, a .487 win percentage, third in the division. Remember that contention window I was mentioning earlier? Yeah, that's closing. These are my pitching stats, as well as my batting stats. I DFA Marshall Kozowski, demote Dalton Rushing, and call up Mason Dinneberg and Noah Syndergaard. These are my new pitching assignments, as well as my lineup. Mid-season goals time, and as always, I don't really care what this guy has to say.
Man, you are one pathetic loser.
Carlos Rodon is out for 3 to 4 months. I call up Jonathan Hernandez to replace him. These are my new pitching assignments. Mason Dinneberg is out for 4 to 5 months. I call up Dalton Rushing to replace him. That's it, I need to do something. I make a trade with the D-Bags, sending Ronald Acuna Jr. and Vladimir DeLone for Mookie Betts, retaining 35%, Jim Ibarra, and 2 minor leaguers. That should at least take care of one of my owner goals. Not done, I strike a deal with the Royals, sending Daniel Cerda, Joan Aiden, and Zach Hess for Connor W. Jones and Defrey Del Rosario. To make this trade work, I call up Pete Crow Armstrong. These are my new pitching assignments, as well as my lineup. We reach August in slightly better shape with a 54-50 record, a .519 win percentage, third in the division. Our playoff hopes will likely hinge on a wild card game at this point. These are my pitching stats, as well as my batting stats. I make no roster moves at this time. Something we've been skipping in this series has been playing the game after the trade deadline, but since we're not creaming the competition this year, I'm doing it this time. This is the lineup I went with, and again, nothing really of interest as we were shut out by the Giants 1-0, but at least the pitching did pretty well, which is the point. Sen Keneally is no longer injured and is sent on a rehab assignment. Shortly after that, I send Gleyber Torres on a rehab assignment as well. Sen Keneally's rehab time is up and I demote Xavier Curry to make room. These are my new pitching assignments. We enter September with a still somewhat unremarkable record at 69-61, a .531 win percentage, third in the division, but still in the race for a wildcard spot. These are my pitching stats, as well as my batting stats. I call up Xavier Curry, Gleyber Torres, and anyone else I think will get us to the playoffs. These are my new pitching assignments, as well as my lineup. And that's the season. We end the regular season having really performed well in the last month, finishing with a 91-71 record, a .562 win percentage, third in the division, and have secured a second wildcard seed. These are my pitching stats to end the season, as well as my batting stats. We must set our playoff roster, and these are my pitching assignments and lineup that I've chosen. We play the Diamondbacks in the wildcard game, and this is the lineup I used. This was an incredibly close ball game all throughout, but unlike the last time these two teams played each other in the playoffs, the Rockies came out victorious, squeaking out a win in a 2-1 game. The added benefit of this game, once again, is using the pitching effectively so it can be rested for the upcoming series. We sim through the playoffs and end up beating the Dodgers in the NLDS in 5 games. However, we did have an injury along the way as Franco Alaman is injured for 2 weeks. I add O'Marion Boards to the playoff roster, and these are my new pitching assignments. We sim through the NLCS, and this is where our luck ran out, as we lose to the Reds in 6 games. To be honest, I'm surprised we even made it this far, so I can't be too mad, especially since the Reds go on to beat the Red Sox in the World Series.
Well, there's no shame in being beaten by the best.
Finally, to end the season, Shane Bieber opts into the remainder of his contract. The owner is very happy with our performance despite being in the gutter for most of the season, and our budget is pretty much the usual. So I'm guessing that's it for this episode. Or is it? Yeah, well, that's it. What else do you want from me? Go away.